When you open your hive for the first time, you are looking at thousands of moving parts. Thousands of individual worker bees are constantly shifting and crawling over one another, making it feel almost impossible to keep track of any single insect. For a beginner, the pressure to find the one queen in this crowd can be overwhelming, but you do not actually have to spot her to know she is there. Think of it like walking into a house and seeing a fresh meal on the table and shoes by the door. You know someone is home and active because of the evidence they have left behind. A successful hive inspection is about shifting your focus away from the hunt for the physical bee and toward the work she is currently doing. While she is distinct, with a much longer abdomen and a dedicated circle of workers tending to her, her physical appearance doesn't tell the whole story. A queen can look perfect but still struggle to keep the colony growing. To truly understand the state of your hive, you have to look at the nursery she builds and the organization of the colony. If those are in good shape, your queen is doing her job well, even if she stays hidden. The most reliable proof that your queen was recently present is also the smallest thing in the hive, a freshly laid egg. This diagram shows what to look for at the very bottom of a honeycomb cell. A healthy queen places a single tiny white egg, about the size of a grain of salt, directly in the center of the floor. These eggs operate on a very strict schedule. On the third day, the egg hatches into a small, pearly white larva. This means that if you see an egg standing in a cell, you have absolute proof that your queen was alive and working in this hive within the last 72 hours. If you see something different, like 4 or 5 eggs scattered haphazardly against the walls of a single cell, it's usually a sign that the queen has been gone for a while and the worker bees are trying to take over her job. Once you see those single, centered eggs and young larvae, you have your answer. You know the hive has a laying queen, and you can safely stop searching for her and move on with your inspection. Knowing she is alive is only the first step. To see if she is truly healthy, we have to look at how she organizes the nursery, or the brood pattern. A highly productive queen creates a pattern like this, a large, solid circle of developing bees that are all roughly the same age. When the cells are tightly packed together with very few gaps, it shows the queen is laying efficiently and the colony is thriving. Don't worry if the pattern isn't a perfect solid block. It's normal to see occasional empty cells where bees have recently emerged, or small pockets where workers have stored pollen to keep food close to the growing young. However, you might find a frame that looks more like this, scattered, irregular, and full of random empty holes. This spotty look is often a warning sign that something is interrupting the growth of the new bees. It is a common mistake to see a messy frame like this and immediately assume the queen is the problem. Many beginners decide to replace her right away, but that might actually make things worse. A patchy pattern is a symptom of a problem in the nursery, but the queen isn't always the one to blame. There are several other factors that can make a good queen look like she's failing. The most likely reason for a spotty pattern is the varroa mite. These tiny parasites prey on the developing bees and spread viruses. When the worker bees realize a larva is sick, they remove it, which is what creates those empty holes in what should be a solid pattern. Environmental stress can also play a role. A sudden cold snap can chill the brood, or a lack of flowering plants nearby can leave the colony without the nutrition they need to raise healthy young. Sometimes the queen just runs out of room. If the worker bees are bringing in so much nectar that they fill up the center of the hive, the queen has nowhere left to lay her eggs. To a beekeeper, it looks like she's stopped working, but she's actually just run out of space. Before making a major change like replacing your queen, you must check your mite levels, verify the colony has enough food, and make sure she has empty, clean comb available. To sum it up, you're looking for 3 things: recent eggs, a generally organized nursery, and an adult population that is large enough to cover and protect those developing bees. Remember that your goal is to get this information as quickly as possible. The less time the hive stays open, the less stress you put on the bees and the nursery. If the pattern looks confusing, don't rush to a conclusion. Take notes, watch how things change over the next 2 weeks, and talk to an experienced beekeeper if you're unsure. Even the best queen cannot succeed if her colony is hungry. Everything in the hive, from egg laying to honey production, depends on having enough fuel. And that brings us to our next step. When and how should you feed honeybees?